was in the 5th grade, I had to begin wearing glasses, and I have to admit, I had a tendency of, losing them or breaking them a lot, and they weren't cheap. The one that I really remember the most when this happened was I was in the 7th grade, and I had broken my glasses, so my parents had ordered me new ones. And the day I got them, I went out with my friends to a local wooded area that we had that had a river running through it, and there were 2 ways of crossing the river. There was, the easy way, which was sort of a little bridge, and then jumping from rock to rock, which of course, that's the way we chose. So I started jumping from rock to rock, and about halfway through, as I was making my next jump, I slipped. My glasses came flying off my face and went down the river, never to be seen again. The last thing I wanted to do was go home and tell my parents, but I didn't have any choice. So I went back, went home, told my mom and dad what had happened. And they were actually pretty cool about it. They recognized it was just an accident. I didn't intend to do it. But they did say, okay, Brian, we're sorry, because it was right near my birthday. They're like, we're going to buy you a new bike, but we can't. We're sorry. We're going to have to use the money to buy you new glasses. I have to be honest, I wanted to tell them, no, get me the bike. Don't worry about the glasses. But, they were good parents, so I was getting new glasses. This story kind of reminds me of really kind of our relationship with God in a lot of ways, if we think about it. Our relationship with God is about the choices we make. And a lot of times we make those sort of small choices of jumping from the rock to the rock, where really it's the small, what we call venial sins. And we don't think much of them. It's the little white lie. It's the small bit of gossip. It's the maybe taking that small thing from work, because work can afford it. It's not really that expensive. It's, you can pick your favorite venial sins that you might do, and we don't think a lot about them because we don't think they really, in a sense, matter. But ultimately, they really do. And why is that? Because those small choices ultimately can lead us to bigger small choices that, again, now that our conscience has already said these things are okay, this is just really a little bit worse, but not really bad. It's okay. God's not going to really care. It's just a small thing. It's a little bigger than the other small things. And then the next thing comes. And then the next thing comes. And as we're jumping from that rock to rock, our conscience is getting weaker and weaker. And that's the problem. Our choices really do matter. They are really important. And they can have consequences ultimately that we're not prepared for. Because what we come to do, what we come to believe is, I get to determine what it is I should do. I'm the one who gets to decide what's really bad and what's really not bad. I become the arbiter of my own destiny. And God's going to be okay with that because these aren't really that bad. Our conscience is now getting weaker. And we can start doing more things that aren't that bad. Or at least from our perspective. Because our perspective is moved away from the Lord. Those choices matter. Because when we slip and fall, we could end up losing what should be most important to us. Our relationship with God. Our salvation. And this is one of the reasons why the church calls us to bring even venial sins to confession. Because in there, our hearts can be pierced by God's mercy and compassion, showing us that these things are bad. We shouldn't be doing them. They're not quite as small as we think they are. they're doing harm to ourselves, to others, to the world. Our choices always create ripples. And so ultimately, we're called to look at which path we're going to want to really take. What path is the path that we want to follow? Is it going to be those small little choices that don't really matter? Nothing's going to come from them. Are we willing to walk the path across the river that God wants us to take? The path that is the path of His relationship, the path of His salvation. Which path we take is up to us. Are we going to take the chance of trying to cross the river by jumping the rocks? Or are we going to take the path God leads us on? The choice is up to you. God bless.